and welcome to ADHD-Friendly, the podcast where everything I share is designed to help you thrive with ADHD. I'm Patty, and I am an ADHD coach with over 12 years of experience. I am recording today on something I like to call playfully ADHD-Mobile. That is our topic. I'm going to talk about what an ADHD-Mobile is, what it looks like, and some strategies, if this is something that resonates with you, that can help you get your car a little bit more aligned with what you would want to have to support yourself to go from that point A to B with a little more ease. So let's dive in. This is episode 147, and I'm going to start with, as I always do, a celebration. And today my celebration is, number one, I took my road trip to North Carolina and took the gifts I made. So I remembered everything I wanted to bring with me. And my homemade gifts were a big hit. So I shared in a previous episode that I made some homemade body scrubs with organic sugar and coconut oil and organic essential oils. And I made some with coffee grounds. And they were just, everybody loved them. My daughter has already requested more for Christmas. So I'm like, oh, I just wasn't sure. I've never made them before. So that was really fun. And it just felt good to do something that was really simple, but, took a number of executive function kind of intentional pauses and thoughts. And I spent more than I thought I was going to spend, but really it came because I didn't really think through what it was going to cost me to do it to begin with. So that was just a really interesting process, but I was pleased with the outcome. So that was my win. And for what I purchased this week, oh my gosh, you guys, oh my gosh, travel. So this is really helpful for me to notice. Travel apparently is another one of those blind spots for me where I really have a hard time because I'm so out of my routine and everything feels kind of more urgent because, well, when will I be here again? When will I have this chance? And if I don't do it now, am I going to regret it? All of those things that can make it really hard to kind of pause and really check in with, is this something I really need? Is this something that I'm going to be glad a week from now that I did, or a month from now that I did? So I definitely had a few impulse buys, but I'm going to focus on the ones that were really like those ones that I'm like, really? Did you really do that? Because I did, and I'm just going to share. So one of them was I bought the book I was reading from, it was a library book. It had to go back before I left my trip, and I was halfway done with the book. That felt so urgent because it was a brand new book that had only come out last month, and the wait list was 11 weeks to get it again from the library. So that just felt like I couldn't tolerate that. So I ordered it from Amazon, and I don't regret that, but I was surprised at how little time I actually had to read it. I thought I was going to finish it on the first day or two of my trip, and I'm still not done, and I'm back. So it's not that it's not good. I just really didn't have time to sit down and just read. And so that was an interesting thing because I thought, well, I'm going to need a book. I'm going to, go through, I brought 3 books with me. I didn't finish, even the one I bought. But anyway, I'll talk about that book when I'm finished with it. That'll probably be a book for the week when I'm done. I also needed labels for the body scrub jars. I didn't have anything. So that was a quick thing that I needed to buy right before I left. And then even though I made those gifts, I did impulsively buy, I found this really cute candy dish I've got to figure out how to manage these. I do well with the emails that are promoting new products and things like, oh, check this out just for you, all of those things. But when it comes from Costco, it's really hard for me not to look if it's like, oh, see what's coming new in Costco this month. And one of the new things were these little candy jars for Halloween. And oh my gosh, you guys, I've shared, I don't love summer. I love the fall. That is a really sparkly thing for me. And they had these little candy dishes. They had the Jack Skeleton from The Nightmare Before Christmas, little candy jar. And I ordered one that was $35, and it was totally impulsive. It was just, and I have to say, it is adorable. Did I need it? No, but the hard thing with Costco is they'll go away and they're just gone. So I've got it. I'll decide if I want to keep it or not. It might go back, but we'll see. And then when I was at my daughter's house, she had these sheets that I noticed the last time I stayed there are just so comfortable. And I really, really love comfortable sheets, and they're a hard thing to find, and they typically are very expensive. And so I ordered some, not for me. And that's where I felt a little bit like I was giving myself permission. I ordered them for my daughter who needed, not my daughter that I was visiting, my daughter that lives with me here in Illinois. She really needed a new set of sheets. So I was like, all right, if you're going to buy them for the person that actually needs sheets, not, I just got a new set of sheets recently. So I was like, I really can't justify it for me right now, but I could get them for her. So kind of an impulse, also a need. So it felt like, all right, if I'm going to get them. So that's a little kind of in that gray area. And then I bought washcloths, that the same ones that my daughter had, because they were so amazing. I've never had a washcloth like this in my life. I never, like, I don't know, guys, washcloths are mere washcloths. And they were only $9.99 for 20 of them. So I was like, they were called, I'm gonna try them for a little bit and see if they're gonna go on my 24 favorite things list for this year. But if they hold up the way that I think they will definitely be on that list, because they were amazing. And then I had to order a charging cord because I left my in North Carolina. So that was the only thing I left behind. Well, that and my hairbrush. So I left two things behind, but they were minimal things that can easily be replaced. So I wasn't too frustrated with myself. All right. And then I forgot. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I have to update my other win, my subscribers for this week. I am still getting used to the fatigue of my brain from having traveled. 9:34, we have 14 new subscribers this week. Welcome. Welcome to ADHD Friendly. I hope you find things here that help you to go from struggling to thriving more consistently. All right, on to my tip for this week. I'm calling this, in line with my topic for this week, which is ADHD-Mobile, where I'm going to talk about how to support yourself to make your car work better for you in terms of how you organize and keep it tidy. I'm going to share a tip related to that. I'm calling it a gas station tidy. And by that, I mean using the structure of when you have to go and fill up at a gas station to do a really quick, 2 or 3 minute clean out of the car. If you do this each time, it makes keeping up with the car so much easier. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of structure for that. So when you are filling up your car, just take a few minutes while you're there. There's always those trash cans right there where you're refilling at the gas tank, at the gas pumps. There's little trash cans there for you to throw out any trash you have in your car. So go ahead and gather up any trash that's in there, anything on the floor that needs to go. If you have some, empty beverage containers or, wrappers, different things, go ahead and gather all of those things and just toss them in the trash. And then if you have extra time, I love to keep the little Windex wipes in my glove box. I'll take them out and I'll just do a quick wipe down of the dashboard. If there's any fingerprints on the windows, I grab those really quickly. Just anywhere that I'm noticing, maybe the steering wheel, just a really quick wipe down. That's it. I'm done. 2 to 3 minutes max. It's a boredom buster. So you're not sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is taking forever to fill my tank. You just do a really quick, I like to think of it as like a little race. Like, can I finish what I need to do before the little, pump lets me know it's done filling. If you do this each time you fill up, it creates automatic structure to keep up with your car a little bit more easily, so that you're leaving with not only a full tank of gas, but a tidier car. Win-win. Love that. Okay, so now on to my topic for this week, which is ADHD-Mobile. Again, this is episode 147. If you are listening to this, I invite you to check out my YouTube channel, I should say, ADHD Friendly. I'm going to be sharing lots of pictures because I literally went and helped one of my kiddos transform their car from very ADHD-Mobile to very ADHD-Mobile, meaning it went from a little overwhelming and disorganized to something that was working for them much more by the time we were done. So this topic really resonated with me because when I was visiting North Carolina in April, I saw my one of my kids' cars, and it reminded me a lot of my dad's car growing up. And my dad was not diagnosed with ADHD. I do believe he absolutely had ADHD, but just it was not something that when he was growing up, kids were getting diagnosed with. And he had piles, and when I say piles, I mean piles of mail across the dashboard. It was amazing. He could see out of this window sometimes the mail would just pile up. He would just shove it in there. He always had his fat address book shoved up in the dashboard too. It was just filled with stuff. And then the car itself was filled with, drive-through coffee cups and bags with, trash in them and just all over the floor. Hangers. He was always going through the dry cleaner and leaving those metal hangers and the plastic wrap from the coverings from the dry cleaner on the back seat, on the floor. It was just, everything was a mess in there. And when I saw my kiddo's car, I was like, oh my gosh, this reminds me of my dad's car. And it was literally this connection I had where I thought, yeah, a lot of us with ADHD struggle with organization, not just in our homes and in our workplace, but we can really struggle just in our car to keep up with the things that we're going into the car, and we struggle to get them out of the car. It might just be a pile of things you mean to return. Guilty. Oh my gosh, I will drive around returns forever. I've driven around with a package I meant to mail to my dad so long that I finally unwrapped it and just started. This was a coffee mug I got him for Father's Day. I still have it. And I remember telling him, I just drink from it, Dad, and I think of you whenever I do, because it just sat in the back of my trunk for over a year. So when you think about getting your automobile less ADHD of a challenge and more ADHD strength, meaning it's working more for the way your brain works, so you're able to keep up with it, we really want it to look and be able to be sustained in a way that works for us. So again, not the way that works for everybody else, the way that works for us. We're not going for perfect here. The funny thing is, just like our homes, a lot of times the outside of our car looks totally typical. You don't know anything's going on unless you invite someone in. So one of the things I always say is, a lot of us have cars that are cluttered, disorganized, and maybe even overwhelming. Maybe it's gotten to that tipping point where it's just overwhelming and it drains your energy before you even get in it. When you think about, well, do I have what I would consider an ADHD-Mobile? My question is, can someone get in your car and ride shotgun, meaning ride in the front seat next to you, or get in the back seat to ride right now as it stands? And if the answer is no, that might be an indication that, and if it's no, because there's just too much stuff in there, it's just, full of clutter. There's stuff all over the floor where they couldn't put their feet, or there's stuff filled in the back seat. There's nowhere for anybody to sit. That just might be something to explore. Like, you might be driving like, yeah, I'm fine. I have plenty of space for myself. I can get in my car and drive, but maybe nobody else could join you if you needed to give somebody a ride. So getting a handle on an ADHD-Mobile that has spiraled a little into the overwhelm or out of control phase is as easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm going to give you 3 steps, and then I'm going to show you a bunch of pictures how I help one of my kids go from the car being more of an energy drainer to the car being more of a fun thing again, where it felt good to be in it. So number 1 is clear the clutter. So literally get all the trash out of there, and anything that doesn't belong or need to stay in the car, find it its new home. And then with whatever has to stay in the car, number 2, organize what you need to keep in the car so that you have either bins or a trash can or baskets to be able to have a home for the things that need to live in your car. And then create, number 3, routines to keep it organized. So it could be maybe a bin, a car bin that goes in and out of the car with you, so that whatever you throw in the bin goes into the house or into your home at the end of the day, and then it goes back in the car with you when you get back in the car the next day. It just helps you to, have a place to put everything. You're like, okay, I put it in here. I know it goes in the house. So you're not leaving maybe like the little bag of groceries or your prescription that you picked up at the pharmacy. Everything that you use during the day when you're riding around in your car goes in this bin. The bin goes in the house, so everything then gets emptied and then back in your car the next day, empty and ready to go. And then the other idea is just back to my tip for this week, maybe just using the gas station structure so that every week or 2, depending on how often you fill up your car, you have that routine to tidy it up. You're throwing out trash, you're wiping down, kind of sticky spots, anything that's going to help you to keep it up. And then just repeat, keep it simple. Clear the clutter, organize what needs to stay in the car, and keep your routine easy so that you are able to keep up with it. That's how we keep our car working for us. I invite you to explore whatever structure is sparkly for you to see what works. Try it for 1 to 2 weeks, whether it's the basket, the car basket going back and forth, or using the gas station fill-ups to tidy up the gas station tidy. Notice what's in it for you to keep it up, what you get for doing it. I literally started my tidying because I couldn't stand the boredom of waiting for the car to fill up. I had to do something else. So it just made sense. I'm like, well, I could just throw out this trash. And it felt so good to get rid of trash at the gas station than bringing it home, because I always have resistance where I have to go in and get a trash bag. It's like, it's right there. I could just carry, and drop it into the trash can really easily. And then notice where you struggle. Those areas that you have resistance or that you struggle with are going to be the things that will undermine your efforts to keep your car from getting out of control. And just notice what would work better. So you're doing little tweaks to make it a little better than it was. Not perfect, just continuing to evolve and improve so that you're noticing what you would need to keep it up. All right, so let's talk about the ADHD-Mobile. This is the Toyota Camry that I gave one of my kiddos when they went back to North Carolina. And on the outside, it looks perfectly normal, just like your average car. Can't really tell anything from the picture. But what I told them when we started was we need to define clear goals. And so our goals were to clear out and organize all of the things in the car, deciding, what needed to stay, what needed to go, and to do light cleaning. So we made it really clear we were not going to be detailing the car. We were not going to be shampooing the seats. We were not going to be shampooing the rugs, vacuuming. We were just cleaning it out, and maybe a few wipes, down for like the dashboard and the center console. The cup holders were kind of sticky. We were like, yeah, we'll clean the dirt from the surfaces, but we're not doing a deep detail because that would have been overwhelming and too much to expect of ourselves. It was really hot too. So we went out first thing in the morning to get it done, because I've shared before, I don't like the heat. So I was like, if we're going to do this, it needs to be done bright and early. So we met at 8 a.m. Took us about 2.5 hours to get through it. But now I'm going to show you some fun before and afters. Again, keep in mind, we weren't going for perfect. We were going for getting things organized so that the clutter was gone and what was left in the car was what they needed to keep in the car to make it work for them. All right, so I'm going to start with pictures. So first, when we opened the car up, the front seat, not too bad, right? So there was a bunch of, things in the center console here. There were some things in the door. But overall, like, this was very functional, just some stuff in there. Same with the back seat. There were a few things just kind of thrown in the back seat, little, kind of fast food things and Pringles can, some sporting gear. The pockets in the back of each seat had a bunch of stuff in them. The doors had some things in them. But it was overall pretty manageable. So I was really excited about that when we got in there, that, it wasn't every single space in the car that we had to deal with. It was a different story when we opened up the trunk. So the trunk was literally filled to the rafters. There was no more space to put anything in there, with a ton of stuff. So this was going to be, I think, we knew from the very start, this was going to be our challenging area, because it was not only full, it was full because there were so many decisions to make here. I don't know where this stuff can go. So it just kept getting put into the trunk. Okay. So when we got into the car, we started taking everything out, and then I opened up, and I didn't get a picture of the glove box. The glove box was full, and I was kicking myself after I emptied it all out. I forgot to get a picture, but I did get a picture of the center console before we started taking everything out of it. And that also, if it had, glove box, center console, anything that closed, trunk, everything was full. Okay. So we took, first step, we took everything out of the car, absolutely everything. And he had these great alpha drawers in the trunk, which ended up being really handy. We used them as sorters. So we just put them on the sidewalk next to the car and literally just kind of started sorting. Now, I would recommend labeling things. We kind of got into it, and I did not feel like going back and getting materials to label. Ordinarily, I always label, but we had trash bags for trash and a trash bag for donations. And then we had bins for what needs to go like into his home, what needs to stay in the car, what's getting donated, all of that. So we had it all sorted. I really do recommend labeling to make it easier, because even though I knew what they were, it was a little fatiguing as we got going, trying to remember what each bin stood for. So that was one of my, I know that I was a professional organizer, like I know to label, but I was really resisting it because we had already started, and I'm such a, once I start, I really have a hard time stopping and going and moving away, because I have a hard time coming back. And I know that about myself. So I'm just sharing put it on your list, label your piles so you can easily remember what you're doing with them. So again, we sorted by trash, donate, what stays in the car and what needs a new home. So it was really simple to keep up with. So we had a clear idea of where do things need to go once we finish sorting everything. Okay, so let's see how we did. So in the center console, we ended up making that the home for, because now everything's out on the sidewalk, we can see what we need to make homes for. So in the center console, he decided that he was going to keep kind of like little like care items like nail clippers and lint roller, Band-Aids, like his little first aid kit, that kind of thing. And then the glove box was just going to be car things. So it has the, you know, the manual that came with the car, his insurance and registration, car maintenance things, just car related items were going in the glove box. So again, keeping things in a way that allows the home to be really clear and defined so you can reset. If something ends up getting shoved in there later on, you can remember, wait, the glove box was just for car things. The console was more for personal items. His sunglasses were in there, that kind of thing. So keeping it clear was really helpful. In the back seat, I got a couple of supplies to help maintain the systems that we were creating. So the first is, you can see on the floor here, was a new trash can. This I got from Costco.com. I don't know if they're sold in the stores. I got the supplies I got from Costco. This was called the Euro, EUROW, automotive trash bin set. It came in a set of 2. This was the larger one. There was a smaller one as well that we really didn't have space for. So we just used the large one. And it came with little liners that snapped in place, which is so lovely because you have a whole roll of them. So when you empty, you just take the bag and you empty it out, you've got another roller, you know, a roll full of more liners just to reline it with. And then it has this little opening here. It was really nice because it had like almost like a trash bag kind of covering over it. So if you had something that was going to spill on the liner, on the opening itself, it wasn't going to make it look all yucky. It was well thought out. It had a little Velcro closure to make it really easy to lift out and take the trash liner out and then replace it. So that worked really well. And then over here, he was keeping some snacks tucked into the pocket behind the seat so that they were handy. Just like some little crackers and things that he decided he wanted to keep there. And so you could kind of reach back from the driver's seat if you needed those and get to those. So this is how the back seat ended up. Again, that one was pretty simple. Again, we were not deep cleaning. We were just organizing it and it worked really well. And then for the trunk, we went with one of the alpha mesh drawers to hold all of the sporting supplies that they were keeping. And then over here, we went with, this was another Costco trunk organizational tool called, again, it was the same company, Euro, automotive organizer. It was $29.99. It came with a cover. I don't know if I said the other one was $24.99, but I'm going to say the trash can was $24.99. This was $29.99, and it was a game changer. So it's really dark, but you can see it came with these little Velcro dividers that divided this big rectangle into a half first, one half large size, and then it divided it again into 2 smaller sections. So it made 3 sections total. It has these little pockets here on the outside. It has a cover, which I'll show you here. So it closes completely and you don't have to look at the stuff if you don't want to, which I thought was really nice. I actually really wanted this after setting it up and helping them set up their trunk. I mean, oh my gosh, you guys, like, look at the difference between where we started with this trunk and where we ended. It was so, of course, I don't have it handy right now. It was so satisfying to see. Hold up the before and after side by sides. Oh my gosh, come on. This is so usable. It was so exciting. And a lot of the stuff didn't belong in the car. So we, took care of that and put it where it needed to go. And only the stuff that needed to stay in the car, stayed in the car. And we organized it in a way that was very visual, accessible, and flexible so that they were able to use it in a way that they could more easily maintain. So I invite you to notice, what would you need to help your car work more like an ADHD-Mobile that works for your brain, not against your brain, so that it is pulling you in, it's building your energy, you're excited to be in it and not getting drained by it. One little side note, the funny part I had to laugh was when I was getting ready to leave, we had finished everything and I was just taking final pictures. I dropped a coin underneath the driver's seat and I bent down to get it, to put it in his little, they have like a little coin container in the car. I found these underneath the driver's seat. So we weren't done. They were really neatly tucked underneath of there. And so we got everything out and thrown away, checked underneath the seats. That was just an omission. Everything was in the car itself was pretty neat. So it didn't even occur to me to look under the seats initially. So we got everything out and recycled and done. So I thought that was funny. Okay. That's it for our segment on ADHD-Mobile. Now for the book of the week. I read Stay by Allie Larkin. This was a really light, another good summer beach read. Sweet, sweet story about a woman who, I even forgot it was about a dog for a while because it took a while for the dog to come into the story. But she adopts a little German Shepherd puppy and or gets a little German Shepherd puppy, I should say. And it's just a really sweet little love story about love and about her new pet. It was very sweet, very fast read. I enjoyed it. So I am sharing that with you here. All right, and now for the quote of the week. This is from Dave Barry. He's best known for his humor columns. And he says, "The thing that unites all human beings is that deep down inside, we all believe that we are above average drivers." I can tell you that that is true. If you, I'd love to meet somebody that says that they don't believe they're a good driver, because that's pretty rare. Most of us do think that we're above average. It's everybody else out there that can't drive. And having just driven all the way from Illinois to Raleigh and back, I will tell you, I do feel like I'm above average, but that, might just be my own take on it. So I thought that was really funny and appropriate for our episode 147 focused on automobiles. That's it for this episode. I hope it helps you to take something that will help you thrive with ADHD and leave behind anything that doesn't work for you. That's always our motto. Until next time, tally ho.